Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Unwoke Thoughts. We got a big show for you today. Big show, lots to talk about. Donald Trump yesterday on X, he absolutely shattered the record for the largest space ever on X, or even when X was Twitter. And the amount of people who tuned in is absolutely astronomical. And guys, it's growing because this space, of course, was saved, and it's on Donald Trump's Twitter account, and people could go back and listen to it whenever they want. So we're going to take a look at how many people so far have tuned in to this Twitter space, or this X space. It's the last time I checked it, I was like, wow, that's insane. So we're going to look at that. But of course, this didn't all go off without a hitch. Prior to the interview starting, a DDoS attack was preventing people from joining the space. Yes, it was very odd. Lots of people were trying to get in, and they just couldn't get in for some reason. It said the space was not available, and it showed that the space was ended or something like that. But many people couldn't get in. And Elon Musk attributed that to a DDoS attack. But once that was fixed, Donald Trump spoke for over 2 hours, unscripted, no topic, off limits. And we actually have some video of him 2 hours in, still going strong, sitting at a table in Mar-a-Lago. Very impressive. Very impressive, Donald Trump. That's my president right there, yes. The media, however, were not too happy with this turn of events. Yes, they were little crybabies. And it's very interesting how free speech is such a threat to an industry whose whole existence is supposed to rely on free speech. Now, why would the media industry be so adverse to this principle? Well, if you want my theories, because they are not news, they are propaganda. That's why. And they really showed it last night when the absolute flood of outrage pumped out by these outlets after the interview was over. Yes, this interview ended, just an absolute flood of outrage was pumped out by these media companies. And it's incredible. But before the interview ever began, the commissioner of the European Union sent a letter threatening action against Elon Musk and X if the live conversation with Donald Trump was not censored. And Elon Musk responded to this during his conversation with Trump. He said a little something for the EU. The Kamala Harris campaign was also very unhappy about this interview and released statements before and after, whining, yes. Elon Musk called out Kamala Harris for having a father who is a Marxist economist, which no doubt influences her ideology. So we're going to take a look at Kamala's father and see what's up. And just as a side note, her father, ironically enough, is named Donald. Yes. So Donald is Kamala's daddy. Yes. Very interesting. Kamala Harris was caught on video saying that on day one, she would release all illegal aliens who are currently in detention centers. So that's interesting. During the lockdowns in Minnesota, under the direction of Governor Tim Walz, police officers would roam neighborhoods and shoot paintball guns at residents standing outside their homes. And I have a video of this, and it's terrifying. The media is reporting that Donald Trump is flying around on a jet once owned by Jeffrey Epstein. So we're going to talk about that and see how it happened. And the media, you guys remember this this leak, or this hacker that hacked into Trump's campaign? Well, the media that got those documents, they are not going to print these documents that they received from the hackers of the Trump campaign, which tells me one of two things, okay? Either they have nothing, or they have something that makes Donald Trump and JD Vance actually look good. Because if Politico, because that was the outlet that these documents were given to, if they had something negative about Trump or Vance, they would be printing it all over the place. So that must mean that when they vetted JD Vance, actually, he probably came back clean, because it was reported that these vetting documents, or the documents that were sent to Politico, were vetting documents about JD Vance. So I guess JD Vance is clean. Chuck Schumer was confronted at a parade in New York, and let me tell you, he's looking pretty rough these days. Yes. Dr. Fauci got COVID again despite being jabbed and boosted 6 times. Ugh. Like a pincushion. And finally, the White House says that Joe Biden supports no tax on tips. What? That's weird. Because less than 2 years ago, Biden cracked down on tips and gave the IRS expanded powers to collect. What? Crazy. But before we get into the show, if you could leave a like on this video, it'd really help me out a lot. And also comment down below, let me know what you think of the show. And if you enjoy the show, consider subscribing. But ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. It was the largest Twitter space in Twitter or X history. This was tweeted out. So far, the Elon Musk chat has 16.4 million people who listened, 84 million views on the post. So this was a while ago, guys. This is like right after it ended. So we're going to take a look here in a second. How many people have actually visited this recording or have seen it or whatever. But this is only after. This is directly after. So 16.4 million people tuned in, 84 million views on the post, 319,000 comments, 111,000 retweets, 374,000 likes, and 46,000 bookmarks. So that is just the numbers directly after. It was the largest post or largest space in Twitter history. And here's some other little data points to look at. This was tweeted out by X itself, the X account. And they say, and it was also retweeted by Elon Musk, between 7:47 p.m. and 10:47 p.m. Eastern Time, President Donald Trump's space received 73 million views. During the same period, there were 4 million posts about Elon Musk and President Trump's conversation on X, generating a total of 998 million views. So almost a billion total impressions about this space, about the conversation. So they're kind of like aggregating all this data about different people conversing and talking about the space. So almost a billion. That's what, like 1/8 or 1/9 of the planet right there. This is why the media was in such an uproar, because they knew X is the new media. They knew that they are failing. They know that their days are numbered, and they don't like it. They don't like it. It really pisses them off. But let's go to the actual recording and take a look at it. It has numbers here. So this is the current number right here. So currently, 175.4 million views. And this is, it's only what? 9:08 a.m. Central Time. This played they had this conversation last night, and it's already at 175 million views. Oh, this is just a gut punch to the Kamala campaign, to the fake news media. It's so sweet, guys. I love it. 324,000 comments, 147,000 retweets, 572,000 likes, 89,000 bookmarks. And guys, the reason why this is so important is because X has a very large politically active demographic and politically diverse as well. Prior to the conversation or the X space starting, Linda Yaccarino, the CEO, tweeted out some demographics here that I thought were interesting. Political demographics, that is. She said, before you tune in tonight into the spaces with Musk and Trump, here are some data about who is on the X platform in the United States. So you have, let's go down to this graphic because it looks better. 37 million Democrats, 34 million swing voters, 32 million Republicans. And the majority of these people who are on X are fairly politically active. I would say out of all the platforms, X is probably the most political by far. So if any platform would be good for Donald Trump to get on, have a conversation, to be able to tap into these independent voters, it would be X. So this is why the media was panicking. This is why Kamala Harris, her campaign, were releasing statements and tweeting, and they were trying to do this whole thing before the space. What do they call it? An X blackout or something like that, where they're all going to boycott X for, I guess, a couple hours while Elon Musk and Donald Trump had this conversation. They all were mad. They were throwing tantrums. It was really, really funny because they couldn't get their little candy of censorship. But actually, the space had already started. While people were kind of sifting into the room, a lot of people were noticing that they were having a hard time joining, or some couldn't join at all. And a lot of you guys were probably on my live yesterday. But for those of you who are just catching up, I'm gonna go through just a little bit of a timeline of what happened. This was George. He talked about this. He said millions of people are reporting that they can't get inside of Trump's X space with Elon Musk. It appears Trump has crashed the servers. He's the most popular president in American history. So that's what we all thought. I thought that too at first. But apparently this is not the case, because Elon Musk, they had stress tested these servers prior for 8 million live listeners. And this is what Elon Musk said the problem was. He tweeted this out. He says, there appears to be a massive DDoS attack on X working on shutting it down. Worst case, we will proceed with a smaller number of live listeners and post the conversation later. And during the conversation with Donald Trump, he even talked about this DDoS attack. Listen, this is what he had to say.
My apologies for the late start. We unfortunately had a massive distributed denial of service attack against our servers, and saturated all of our data lines. Like basically hundreds of gigabits of data were saturated. We think we've overcome most of that, and so it's now time to proceed. But as this massive attack illustrates, there's a lot of opposition to people just hearing what President Trump has to say. And but I'm honored to have this conversation. I want to emphasize it's a conversation.
So DDoS attack. That's what he said it was. And it's really interesting. Yeah, first of all, like, who do you guys think it would be? Who would be sending a DDoS attack to prevent the American people from hearing from a Republican presidential nominee? Who do you think that would be? And second of all, it was very interesting because Elon Musk, of course, he attributed this to a DDoS attack, and almost instantly, let me tell you, there were articles being written about how Elon Musk was lying about this being a DDoS attack. Now, why the heck would Elon Musk be lying about that? Kamala Harris was making fun of Elon Musk, or their campaign was making fun of Elon Musk, saying these are two old rich guys, or two old, what did they say? White billionaires who don't even know how to run a live stream. So, yeah, if you guys want to have an idea of what the media was focusing on, it was not the conversation. All they cared about was, they were fact checking Donald Trump. And then they were writing negative things about the space and laughing at the fact that it had a hard time in the beginning of getting off the ground because of this DDoS attack that they say was a lie. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, what kind of sources? And of course, the sources that they use are all anonymous, right? So it's very, very incredible. I'm going to play you probably one of my favorite parts of this interview. It's very short. I don't know if you guys remember this part, if you listen to this, but Donald Trump was talking about Putin, and he said something, and Putin said, "No way." And Trump said, "I said way." Listen.
And again, I said to Vladimir Putin, I said, "Don't do it. You can't do it, Vladimir. You do it, it's going to be a bad day. You cannot do it." And I told him things that what I do, and he said, "No way." And I said, "Way." And you know, it's the last time we ever had the conversation.
He said, no way. And I said, way. I mean, that's just, come on. That's awesome. Also, there was another part. I wish I could have found this clip. I couldn't find it anywhere. I didn't feel like going through the 2.5 hour conversation to try to find it. But there was a portion where Elon Musk was talking about Donald Trump being, they were talking about Trump and this illegal immigration sign. And Musk said something about it being a sign, and Trump was like, yeah, it was a sign. It was right there. I didn't say as good as Trump. It was just, you had to be there. You had to listen to it. But it was a funny pun, and I cracked up. So, yeah, it was long. Trump, man, the guy can talk. He can talk his pants off. It's wild. But if you want to look at what it looked like while Trump was on this space. So 2 hours in, here's Donald Trump talking on the space right here in Mar-a-Lago at a table. Listen.
Yes, if we could just record that conversation and post it, it would have been excellent. And I hope we can have something like that today.
Well, I think we will. I'm pretty sure we will. And congratulations, because I see you broke every record in the book with so many millions of people, and it's an honor. We view that as an honor. And
yes,
so 2 hours in, the guy's still going strong. And Patrick Bet-David had something to say about this. This is what he said. Because, I mean, you would never guess. Like, this guy was, 60-something years old? 66, right? And he's sitting there at the table 2 hours in, sharp as ever, still answering questions. He probably could have gone for another 4 or 5 hours. I mean, he was not slowing down. But Patrick Bet-David, he commented on this stamina that Donald Trump has. He says, stamina is by far the most intimidating quality an opponent can have. President Trump's level of stamina is second to none. He's doing the call from East Coast, which means it's almost 11 p.m. He's been going for almost 3 hours, including the delay. As a founder of a few businesses, one thing I can tell you that founders have as an edge over their peers is their relentless energy to keep going way past their opponent, slowing down or stopping. There's nothing more annoying than an opponent that has unlimited supply of energy. It's annoying, it's intimidating, it's frustrating, and quite frankly, it causes the type of envy that words can't describe. Your enemies are hoping you slow down. They secretly hope for you to get sick or something happens to you to slow you down. And then he asks these questions about Kamala Harris. He says, number one, how many interviews has Kamala done? How many 3-hour podcasts have Obama, Kamala, or Biden ever done? Why not? Is it because it's risky? Do you as a voter prefer one that's willing to openly speak on live with zero scripts or teleprompters, or would you prefer all being calculated and scripted? Who would you like to have negotiate on your behalf for the investment you make? Taxes. Whose energy would you like if a war breaks out in the middle of the night? Someone who only works 6 hours a day, or someone who's the real life Energizer Bunny? Who do you trust doing more good with your money, your taxes? Who do you think our enemies want to see win the election? A leader who's relentless and consistently moving, or one that's low energy and flip-flops half the time? Vote accordingly. So, wise words from Patrick Bet-David. He's a great follow, guys. If you don't subscribe to him on YouTube, go send him a subscribe. He has some great content. I really like his stuff a lot. But the commissioner of the European Union attempted to shut this space down. Well, they attempted to censor the space. They threatened at Elon Musk if he didn't censor this space. Linda Yaccarino retweeted this from the commissioner of the EU. This guy, Thierry Britton. Let's go to his page. This guy right here. Hold on a second. This little guy. This sad little man right here. I think that's a man. I'm not really sure, actually. But yeah, so he was attempting to get Elon Musk to censor this. And they posted this letter on X. Linda Rock Yacarino responded, "This is an unprecedented attempt to stretch a law intended to apply in Europe to political activities in the United States." Why is the UK and, why are they all trying to meddle in the United States? Remember, was it yesterday or the day before? They were saying that people who said stuff in the United States, they were going to try to extradite to the UK to prosecute. It's like, what? What's going on? How about no? How about you get out? How about you leave us alone? Okay? Stuff's crazy. It also patronizes European citizens, suggesting they are incapable of listening to a conversation and drawing their own conclusions. Facts. And then Elon Musk also alluded to this during the conversation with Donald Trump. This is what he said. Listen.
And, there's a lot of attempts to do censorship and to force censorship, even on Americans from other countries. And I think it's obvious that you're a believer and an advocate of free speech, because during your first term as president, you were attacked relentlessly every day, often very unfairly with false attacks, and you didn't try to shut down the media. You didn't try to inhibit their freedom of speech, and I think that says a lot. And
so when he's talking about people from outside of the United States, he is referring directly to that European commissioner. And guys, I mean, like our freedom of speech is our most important right. It really is. And I look around and I see censorship. I see other countries engaging in censorship, and it's like the walls are closing in. That's a good part of the reason why I'm even on YouTube, is because I saw this stuff happening. I saw it during COVID. I thought what's going on is terrifying. I never thought I would see this. And it's a big reason why I speak out about this stuff, because we lose our right to free speech. I mean, we're going down a dark path, my friend. But a little bit more into this threat from the European Commissioner. This is from Trending Politics. We're talking about it. EU threatens Elon Musk, vows to censor Trump interview in stunning letter. The European Union's digital watchdog wrote a letter to Elon Musk on Monday, hours before the live stream with Donald Trump. The letter served as a reminder of the EU's strict policies against promoting hate speech. What even is hate speech? Guess who defines it? Yes, that's right. The people that rule over you get to define what hate speech is. And it's very vague. There's no specific objective definition. Very subjective, very political. But shut up and take it. This comes after Trump revealed that he'd be joining Musk for his interview on X. Thierry Breton, a French business executive, politician, writer, and current commissioner for internal market and services of the European Union, emphasized the importance of adhering to the Digital Services Act, the DSA, due to Musk's control over X, which has a significant user base in the EU. That's what he said. As the individual entity ultimately controlling a platform with over 300 million users worldwide, of which 1/3 in the EU, that has been designated as a very large online platform, you have the legal obligation to ensure X's compliance with EU law, and in particular the DSA in the EU. This notably means ensuring, on one hand, that freedom of expression and of information, including the media freedom and pluralism, are effectively protected, and on the other hand, that all proportionate and effective mitigation measures are put in place regarding the amplification of harmful content. So, freedom of expression and information must be protected, but you must mitigate and not amplify harmful content. Hate speech, you can't do it. Well, I mean, guys, what do you think? Do you think if Kamala Harris would have done an X space with Elon Musk, do you think they would be saying this stuff? No, because these people are sick. These people only care about one thing, that's power. And Donald Trump, to them, represents I mean, I don't even know what he represents to them. They're just totally terrified of Donald Trump. And these are the tactics they use to silence him. Not just him, but you too. Like, this is not just Donald Trump. They use these tactics on Donald Trump, and they use these tactics on just the lay person. I mean, you see what's going on in the UK right now, where people are getting thrown in jail, thrown in prison for 20 months, nearly 2 years, for posting stuff on Facebook, for commenting on Facebook posts, for resharing Facebook posts. It's insanity. That's where this is coming from. This is important against the background of recent examples of public unrest brought about by the amplification of content that promotes hatred, disorder, incitement to violence, or certain instances of disinformation. Yeah. They hadn't even begun to speak. This was before anybody said a thing, and they are already calling it hate speech and disinformation, and essentially accusing Musk of incitement to violence. Incredible. The letter concluded with a stern warning about the ongoing formal proceedings against X under the DSA and the possible repercussions of failing to comply. Breton urged Musk to promptly ensure the effectiveness of your systems and to report measures taken to my team. So, he wanted to make sure that there was some censorship measures put in place, or else. And this is the sad little man himself tweeting out this stupid letter here. But then it kind of goes into some of the past fights that Elon Musk has had with the EU. But let's move on to here in the United States. What happened? What was going on here in the United States before, during, and after this interview or this conversation? I guess Elon Musk called it a conversation. He was like, this is not an interview. This is a conversation. So, and it was a conversation. But prior to this conversation, the left was trying to organize a boycott, a Twitter blackout, if you will. This person tweeted out, Twitter blackout 8 p.m. Eastern. Yes. And there was a few people that were sharing that, but it really didn't gain any steam whatsoever. Zero steam. Also, prior to this conversation, there were media outlets kind of lamenting the fact that this was happening. And one of these was the Washington Post. They asked Karine Jean-Pierre if Joe Biden was going to intervene in some way against this interview. Like, what? Like, this is the press. This is the press is supposed to be like, their whole existence is because of freedom of speech, right? Free speech. That's what the press is supposed to want to uphold that. So this shows you right here that the press is not, they're not news. They're not objective news. They're not fair. They're propaganda. Because any real platform, any real news agency would want free speech to be the rule. But this Washington Post reporter, watch this. Look at what he asked Karine Jean-Pierre. It's very interesting. Listen.
Elon Musk is slated to interview Donald Trump tonight on X. I don't know if the president is going to tune in. Feel free to say if he is or not. But I think that misinformation on Twitter is not just a campaign issue. It's an America issue. What role does the White House or the president have in sort of stopping that, or stopping the spread of that, or sort of intervening in that? Some of that was about campaign misinformation, but it's a wider thing, right?
Yeah, no, and you've heard us talk about this many times from here, about the responsibilities that social media platforms have when it comes to misinformation, disinformation. Don't have anything to read out from here about specific ways that we're working on it, but we believe that they have the responsibility. These are private companies, so we're also mindful of that too. But Look, it is. I think it is incredibly important to call that out as you're doing. I just don't have any specifics on what we have been doing internally.
So it's just accepted. So the way you see how they talk about these things, it's just accepted that this conversation is going to be misinformation, is going to be disinformation, and that's how members of the media, members of the press look at this, and they're asking how the president himself could intervene and stop the spread of this misinformation and disinformation. You might say, well, he didn't say, Donald Trump, or he didn't say the interview itself. He is talking about the interview in the context of it just being wrought with misinformation and disinformation. It's incredible. So while we call them fake news, they call Donald Trump misinformation. It's crazy, guys. But we we're for free speech. We're for free speech. They just want to shut you down. They want to lie to you. They want to manipulate you. And after they lie and manipulate you, they want to make sure you can't talk and point it out. That's what's particularly evil about the mainstream media. Like you saw right there. This guy is a member of the media. He's supposed to be a reporter, a journalist. Speech should be very important to him. The First Amendment should be very important to him, but he is imploring a government, the highest government in the land, the executive branch, President Biden, or his White House at least, what he's going to do about shutting down or preventing the spread of misinformation, aka this conversation between Elon Musk and Donald Trump. It's just never ceases to blow my mind. But also moving on to the Harris campaign. They were not happy about the fact that Donald Trump was the talk of the world last night. Yes, he was. This is a statement that they released during the interview. This is what they said. The Harris campaign. Right now, Elon Musk is interviewing Donald Trump live on Twitter. We're not calling it X. We refuse to call it X. Oh. It's not enough that Musk has pledged to donate millions of dollars to help reelect Trump. He's using his purchased platform, one of the largest social media sites in the world, to spread Trump's unhinged and hateful agenda to millions of users. Yeah, and guess what, Kamala Harris? You're using your hundreds of millions of dollars to control the propaganda arm of the media, of the Democrat Party, rather. CNN, MSNBC, Newsweek, just about 99% of the media has literally come out in unison and supported you in various ways. And it's undeniable. And you're crying about Twitter. You're crying about X. You won't even call it X. You'll call it Twitter. Oh. And then they asked to, for you to chip in $25 to help Kamala and Tim have the resources to respond to their lies. Give us $25 so we can respond to their lies and then pump out propaganda and propagandize you. Pay maybe an influencer, 20 grand to tell you to vote for Kamala. It's just crazy stuff. And they go on. Otherwise, let us remind you why this is a big deal. The richest person in the world is a lackey for Team MAGA. Musk has already ruined Twitter by allowing hate speech and disinformation to flood the platform. Now Musk is using his vast fortune and broad reach to try to control our democracy. Do they even know what a democracy even is? Like, please. Kamala, you were never elected. You never won a primary. You haven't gotten a single vote. Why are you in there? Once again, it's a DEI thing. You're a DEI hire VP, and now you're a DEI hire nominee for president. You skipped all of the normal steps, the process that we're supposed to go through, have a primary process, be voted on, run against various people, give people a choice between various candidates. You run, you win the primary, and then you go on to run against your opponent in the general election. That's real democracy right there. But you were installed, Kamala, so I don't understand how these people with a straight face can talk about democracy ever. But this is a statement that was given after the interview or the conversation. Statement on Donald Trump's interview with Elon Musk. Donald Trump's extremism and dangerous Project 2025 agenda is a feature, not a glitch, of his campaign, which was on full display for those lucky enough to listen in tonight during whatever that was on x.com. Whatever that was. God, they are so mad, guys. Whatever that was. They're talking like a young high school girl. Trump's entire campaign is in service of people like Elon Musk and himself, self-obsessed rich guys who sell out the middle class and who cannot run a live stream in the year 2024. Right. And this is what they headlined this. Our statement on ... whatever that was. This is a campaign X account, by the way, guys. Very serious. Our statement on whatever that was. Kind of along the lines of the whole, the weird thing. Kind of has the same energy, right? They like to call Trump and Vance weird, and they talk like whatever that was. So it's this whole brat thing. Remember, Kamala Harris was having a brat girl summer, so then they have to go along with this same, little attitude. Well, whatever that was, like crazy stuff, guys. It's 2024, and we got a a brat girl running for president. What the heck? Some other stuff going on. YouTube's AI was describing this conversation in a derogatory manner. Now, I know I had one on mine. I'm not really sure. I wasn't able to watch it. I don't know if it said anything derogatory on my live stream, but this was reported by George. It's a screenshot. Viewers are reacting to a boring interview between Elon Musk and former President Donald Trump, where the two are not engaging in any policy talk, and Trump appears to be having slurred speech. Yeah, so I got a lot of that too. There was a lot of people, trolls, that all of a sudden bombarded my chat, talking about Trump slurring his words and having a lisp. It was very weird, and this happened like across a lot of different YouTube channels. I talked to some YouTubers personally that have experienced the same thing, and I've had people send me stuff that showed this. So it was like almost like it was an organized thing where all these trolls, I don't know if they're bots or what they were, but they started bombarding chats of live streamers wanting to frame it in a way where Donald Trump has this list, Donald Trump has a slur, when, they were on a phone. And plus, if you notice in one of those videos or those picture of the video of Donald Trump's talking on this phone, he's wearing it's like a cheap lapel microphone little thing. And I actually have one of these. I don't know if it's the same brand, but it looks identical to the one that Donald Trump was wearing. And it's you plug in this receiver into the phone and you put the lapel mic on. And I actually used this when I was in Fulton County to do interviews and stuff. And I kind of, I wish I hadn't, because the audio quality is so terrible. It's a cheap little lapel mic. The compression is really weird. The audio just sounds odd. I don't know if it's the same one, but it looked the same. So, I mean, they were trolls bombarding these chats, trying to frame this in a certain way. And of course, there are also news agencies that are talking about this too. But to kind of end this segment, guys, the haters of this X space, if you want any other reason to hate the press, hate the mainstream media, it's this. And trust me, if you hate them, you don't hate them enough. Let me show you this. So this is just a kind of a collage that was put together. Let me magnify this. It's a collage that was put together of different headlines during and after this. Let me see if I can make this a little bit different here. Magnify image. Let's see if that works a little bit better. Okay, let's do this. There we go. All right. So here's one from USA Today. Trump rambles, slurs his way through Elon Musk interview. It was an unmitigated disaster. Rambling Trump Musk interview marred by tech issues. That was Reuters. After a glitchy start, Trump encounters a sympathetic interviewer in Elon Musk. That one's not so bad. Trump returns to X, this is the Atlantic, with technical glitches, softball questions from Musk. Independent, Trump's interview with Musk devolves into yet another X catastrophe. MSNBC. What did they say here? At least he's consistent. Brian Tyler Cohen on Elon Musk's failed X interview with Donald Trump. After 40-minute delay, Elon Musk and Donald Trump hold marathon bull session on X. That's not so bad right there. Donald Trump and Elon Musk's conversation took forever to start, then never ended. Trump repeats same talking points during Musk interview, but the former president's lisp steals the show. Lisp? Really? This one says, Elon Musk throws a Trump rally. Musk tries to help Trump halt the Harris surge. Elon Musk's interview with Donald Trump was an embarrassing disaster. So you get it. You get it. That is, of course, where the media stand. Doing propaganda for Kamala Harris. Moving on to Kamala Harris, Elon Musk tells the world that Kamala Harris's father is a Marxist economist. Shocking. Listen.
A critical juncture for the country. I think a lot of people thought, the Biden administration would be a moderate administration, but it's not. And obviously, we're just going to see an even further left administration with Kamala. That's my honest opinion. I mean, her dad is literally. She was brought up as an actual. Her dad is a Marxist economist. You can Google it. I mean, it's not we're not making this up,
And Google it, I did. Yes, Google it, I did. So we're gonna just kind of briefly look at Kamala Harris's father right here. Here we go. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. All right. So this was a article that was actually it was behind a paywall, so I had to jump through some loops to get to it. But this is The Economist, revisiting the work of Donald Harris, father of Kamala. So Donald, Kamala's dad is Donald, a combative Marxist economist with White House influence. Wow. In a video clip that has gone viral recently, Kamala Harris quotes her mother asking whether she thought she had just fallen out of a coconut tree. The probable Democrat nominee for president breaks into a laugh at the turn of phrase before explaining somewhat philosophically the message of the story. You exist in context of all in which you live and what came before you. For Ms. Harris, some of that context is esoteric economic theory. So what is this esoteric economic theory? This Marxism. It's an economic theory, and it's most definitely esoteric. Her father, Donald, is an 85-year-old Jamaican-born economist, formerly a professor at Stanford University. Wow. As a part of a tradition of heterodox economists, Mr. Harris is tenacious and prosecutorial, with a terrier-like grip on the blind spots and misguided assumptions of the mainstream, as well as the foibles of his daughter, whom he publicly admonished for stereotyping Jamaicans when she admitted to smoking marijuana. He is a clear writer. There are few compound nouns or sentences that run for paragraphs, yet he is still a Marxist, and his writings are sprinkled with obscurantinist theorizing. Republicans who have mocked Ms. Harris for word salad speeches will find precedent in her father's writing. Mr. Harris work shares some of the economic concerns of the Biden administration, which Ms. Harris is vice president. His book, Capital Accumulation and Income Distribution, was published in 1978 and dedicated to Kamala and her sister. And it examines pitfalls of relying on profit-seeking capitalists to direct an economy. So, guys, I don't know if you remember, but it was like a couple of weeks ago, I played a video of Kamala Harris literally saying that capitalism is bad. We can't rely on capitalism. And that's what our whole country is built upon. And this, I mean, some people thought, oh, this is just her just talking. She doesn't know what she's talking about. But is it, though? Her dad is a Marxist economist at Stanford, or was. And now she's talking about capitalism and how bad it is. Doesn't seem like a mistake. So he sought not only to understand why some countries are rich and others are poor, but also why parts of all economies are backward, a pattern he calls uneven development. So I'm not going to get into the whole, I mean, this is a long article and it's very dense, of course. But that is just an idea. That is who Kamala Harris's father is. That's how she grew up, with these ideas, this ideology, this anti-American ideology of Marxism. So it's not really something, I would say, that we would want in the White House. But that's just me. That's just me being an American guy, you know? I'm just a normal American guy not wanting Marxism in the White House. Is that okay? More crazy stuff. Kamala Harris reveals she will be freeing all illegal immigrants from detention centers day one if she becomes president. Listen to this.
Hi, my name is Sally Hartman. I'm a volunteer with the Center for Worker Justice. Okay. I want to know, when you become president, would you be committing to close immigration detention centers?
Absolutely, on day one. On day one.
So you know what that means, guys. That means all immigration detention centers closed and emptied out into the United States. That is insane. Moving on, guys. My video on Tim Walz in Minneapolis, where the officer shot the paintballs, that video was just taken down. Let me see if I can find it really quick. This happens from time to time. Here we go. I have one here. It doesn't. Oh, here we go. I found it. So this is terrifying, guys. This is what really, I saw this and I was like, wow, that blows my mind that this guy is now a contender for vice president. But during the lockdowns of COVID-19, under the leadership of Tim Walz, officers would shoot paintballs at residents standing on their porches. This is in May of 2020. Check this out.
Oh, there's more. Look at this. They just keep coming.
Go inside! Get inside! Get inside! Get inside! Get in your house now! Let's go! Light him up! Go inside now! Get inside! Get in the house!
Get in!
Oh, God, that hurt. You good?
Are you okay?
Right on the fucking crotch.
Are you okay? You got hit?
I'm good.
So there you go, guys. That's what a fascist state looks like. And that was Minnesota under Tim Walz. Yes. I thought that was absolutely terrifying. Could you imagine that? Get in your house. You have no choice. Get in your house. You don't have any freedom of movement. You have no rights. We are the state. Do what we tell you or else. Constitution, what's that? We use it as toilet paper. Moving on, guys, to Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. Yes, the media is really trying to spread insinuations and misinformation about Donald Trump flying on a jet that was owned by Jeffrey Epstein. Well, apparently this, in fact, is true. The context that is, I guess, left out of what happened here is pretty enormous. They should lead with that context instead of just reporting this. This is reported on by Yashar Ali, and they retweet this account called Kamala's Wins. It's another one of Kamala Harris's campaign accounts. And they tweeted this out. The Miami Herald has just confirmed that Donald Trump and his campaign have been using Jeffrey Epstein's plane. This is repulsive. And guys, do you remember Donald Trump's plane having a mechanical issue when he was flying to Montana? Well, he flew from Billings, Montana to Bozeman, Montana in a smaller jet because his plane had to get worked on. And then they chartered after that, he had other places to go, and they chartered a jet because he couldn't have his own jet. He couldn't use his own while his own was getting fixed. And this jet, apparently, this jet that they were given, that they chartered, happened to be previously owned by Jeffrey Epstein at some point. So that is the whole story in a nutshell. But Yashar Ali says the Miami Herald confirmed that Trump flew on a jet once owned by Jeffrey Epstein. A jet was chartered by his campaign once Trump's plane had a mechanical issue. The owner of the jet bought it from Epstein when he was still alive in a commercial transaction. So that's this whole freaking story. Oh, Donald Trump. And that's like the headline. That's what the media is running as the headline. They are leading with Donald Trump flies on a jet owned by Jeffrey Epstein. That's what they're leading with. It's incredible. MSNBC, they, of course, they had to report on this. And, it's very, very serious, interesting news. It's, and notice how they use the language. They say Donald Trump flies on jet once owned by, I think they say sexual predator or sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. Like, what does that have to do with anything? You've got to add all of this, this language in there. I mean, you can see what they're doing, but listen.
New reporting from the Miami Herald we want to tell you about. They've confirmed in the last hour that former President Donald Trump's campaign flew in a blue Gulfstream jet formerly owned by sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein.
Why did they have to add that? Because it has literally nothing to do with what happened, right? They lead with that, all the negative stuff. Oh my God, Donald Trump is attached to this guy. Why don't they ever go after, the Clintons? What about Bill Clinton? Huh? MSNBC, did you ever make that connection? Really? No? Yeah, that's what I thought.
To travel to several campaign fundraisers over the weekend. According to a Trump campaign spokesperson, Trump en route on his own private plane to a campaign event in Bozeman, Montana last week, unexpectedly landing in Billings because of mechanical problems. He and part of his staff then flew on a small charter plane to Bozeman for a rally Friday night. The next day, he switched to another larger plane with a serial number that matches the plane once owned by Epstein.
So that is literally the story, but of course the media is running. I mean, I've seen headlines all night, or yesterday night and all day today. Oh, Donald Trump flies on jet owned by Jeffrey Epstein. See, we told you it was Donald Trump who was attached to this guy. It's just like, how desperate can these people get? But moving on to JD Vance, news outlets were leaked insider information or material from the Trump campaign, but they chose not to print it. Aw, that's wow. What upstanding people the media is. It's just absolutely incredible, isn't it, guys? So, like I said, this tells me that either they don't have anything at all, really, of any consequence, or it's something that makes Donald Trump and JD Vance look good. The AP News, Associated Press, is talking about this. At least 3 news outlets were leaked confidential material from inside the Donald Trump campaign, including its report vetting JD Vance as vice president, as a vice presidential candidate. So far, each has refused to reveal any details about what they received. So it must be good. It must be really good stuff. Because if it was bad, they would be leaking that stuff like crazy, unless they're holding on to it. I don't know. Maybe they're holding on to it to a certain time. But they say instead, Politico, the New York Times, and the Washington Post have written about a potential hack of the campaign, described what they had in broad terms. Their decision stands in marked contrast to the 2016 presidential campaign, so they're turning this around for it to be an attack on Trump. When a Russian hacker exposed emails to and from Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, John Podesta. The website WikiLeaks published a trove of these embarrassing missives, and mainstream media organizations covered them avidly. So, yeah, they're trying to turn this around, make it look like, it's Democrats and Hillary Clinton that were treated unfairly back in the day. But now the media, these news agencies are taking the high road, and they're not going to report on this stuff leaked from the Trump campaign. Yeah, right. Give me a break. If they had anything whatsoever, they would be blasting it all over the place. So they're like, how can we turn this into a hit against Donald Trump? I know what we can do is, say that we're not going to run it because we're just, we have ethics. We have ethics. Unlike the Trump campaign in 2016 when they did X, Y, and Z, it's just like, yeah, right, guys. Yeah, right. Chuck Schumer gets confronted at the Dominican Day Parade rally, or Dominican Day Parade in New York City. And look at this guy, guys. He's not looking too good. What the heck is going on with Chuck Schumer? Wow, corruption does not do good for a person. But listen to what this guy says, and it's kind of what I want to say to Chuck Schumer too. Listen.
Hey, Chuck, Dominicans actually hate your guts, right? Because you're a scumbag. You know that, right? You ruined New York. You're a loser. You're a loser, buddy.
That's right.
You're a loser.
Get out of here. So he shows up to the Dominican rally. This guy says, hey, Schumer, you know that Dominicans actually hate your guts. You're a loser. You're a loser. And he runs. He runs. Dr. Fauci, very quickly, guys. Say a prayer for Dr. Fauci. He's infected again. He got infected with COVID again. And he describes it in all of the jabs he's taken. Listen.
I got infected about 2 weeks ago. It was my third infection, and I had been vaccinated and boosted a total of 6 times. I got infected about 2 weeks ago.
All these people, man. With a straight face, he's saying this. Oh, my gosh. No comment, guys. No comment. No comment. I'm just going to move on to no tax on tips. Yes, guys, guess what? Biden. Apparently. KJP, Karine Jean-Pierre, has said that Joe Biden, the White House, is supporting no tax on tips. Well, you don't say. Well, listen to this. Throw on the sound really quick.
Thanks, Karine. Over the weekend, the Vice President said she followed former President Donald Trump in saying she would support a proposal that would not tax tipped wages. If similar bill made its way to the President of the United States, President Biden, would he sign that proposal? Because that's something he's embraced before.
Oh, absolutely. Look, this is something that the president supports. He supports eliminating taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers.
Wait, he does? That's odd. Because what is this? You guys remember this? I showed you guys this yesterday. Biden's IRS plans to crack down on waiters' tips. February 7th, 2023. And I also showed you where on the IRS website, it showed this. It showed this new thing by the Biden administration where they were going after tips from waiters and waitresses. But this is just like any Democrat. This is par for the course for Democrats. You guys ever have any fair weather friends? Yes, we all have them. You know, when times are good, they're there. But when times are bad, they're gone. They're not around. That's what a Democrat is. When they need your vote, all of a sudden, they're there supporting all these things just to get your vote. That's what they do. Fair weather friends. Snakes. And then as soon as they get what they want, they chuck you. They chuck you out the window. Boom. Who are you? I don't even know you. What are you talking about? I'm going to go try to do some crazy stuff. That's what Democrats are. Kamala Harris, all these whack jobs. And finally, guys, last one we're going to talk about. Kamala Harris cast the tie-breaking vote to let IRS track workers' tips so they can be taxed. Kamala Harris, the champion for no tax on tips herself? You don't say. Kamala Harris is a hypocrite? No way. You've got to be kidding me. I don't believe it. I refuse to believe it. I'm going to dye my hair blue and get a nose ring. But ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have for today. How are you guys doing? What's up out there? I had a late night last night and an early morning this morning, so I'm running on fumes. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. But how's everyone doing? Hey, we have some new members, by the way. I've got to get to this first. We had several new members join. Really appreciate my members for supporting the show. Means a lot. Let me go on here and look. So, new members. We have Karina. Welcome, Karina. Jeremy Byers. Liz Bauer. We had Retired Nana join yesterday. Windy Girl. Maga Baby. Oh, Maria B. And we have Trium Infinitum. Yes. Yesterday, they said if I said their name, they would join. So, Trium Infinitum is a man or woman of his or her word. So I'm not sure. I don't want to assume your gender, Trium Infinitum, but thank you guys for joining. Thank you for supporting the show. That means a lot. Like I said, YouTube, I've shared it in the group chat every now and then. They like to hit my live streams with ad suitability for some reason, which means I can make zero off of these live streams. So I appreciate my members because it really picks up a lot of the slack, and I appreciate you guys. But let's get to the chat. We got Michelle C in the chat doing a fantastic job. Michelle, how's it going? Thank you for modding, doing a fantastic job as usual, killing it. We got some of my good members in the chat. Bill Phillips, how's it going, Bill? How's it going? Who else we got up here? Jeremy Brummer in the chat. Thanks for helping out, Jeremy, tonight or this morning. Let's see. Scrolling through all these chats up here. We got Scoop in the chat. Another one of my great members. But what do you guys think of this? What do you guys think of that live stream yesterday with Donald Trump? That was pretty mega. So I wonder, let me see. I'm going to see how many views it has now. Let's go to this. Donald J. Trump. All right, so it is at currently. Oh, no, that's not the one. Hold on a second. Where's real Donald Trump? What happened to real Donald Trump? Why is that one not showing up? There we go. All right. So currently it is at, it's approaching 200 million views, guys. So during the time that I did this stream, what was it at 164 million? It got like almost 30 million views or 154 million. I don't know. But yeah, it's incredible. So it's pretty wild. Let me go to the chat up here. Oh, that's why I had my chat pause. I was wondering why nothing was going on. Yeah, guys, if you want something pretty sweet, so Veteran Biker tonight is going live with Scott Pressler. This is the guy that just does a fantastic job registering people to vote. I believe he's from Wisconsin originally, and he's just canvassed almost the entire nation registering people to vote in different areas. And a lot of this election is hinging around Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is very important to this election. So he actually himself moved to Pennsylvania. He bought a house in Pennsylvania, and he is living there through the election. I don't know how long he's going to live there, but definitely through the election to get people registered to vote. So make sure, guys. I shared it on my X page right here. That's it. If you guys want to watch something awesome tonight, go on Veteran Biker and watch the Scott Pressler episode. It's going to be really good. So that is exciting. Veteran Biker. He said, "Can you mention Scott Pressler on the stream tonight?" Hey man, you didn't have to throw me $20. I didn't even see this super chat until now. But I appreciate it, Veteran Biker. I really appreciate it. Yes, guys, go watch that tonight, because it's going to be a very exciting live stream. And Veteran Biker just does a fantastic job. And Scott Pressler, he is probably the hardest working Republican in the United States. Not lying. He's doing like the real work. And it's not easy. And then we have Jim Barron gifting 1 membership. Thanks, Jim. I really appreciate you gifting those memberships. All right, let's see. Let's read a few more chats. I'm going to hop off of here. Rolf says, Scott Pressler, I must check it out. Yes, guys, check it out. Check it out. It's going to be really good. In fact, I wonder if I can hold on a second. I could redirect you guys to the stream. So you guys, he doesn't start it until tonight, but I can at least redirect you so you know where it is. So let me go. I can. I don't know if I can or not, but I'll try. Let's see. Give me 1 second. The YouTube Studio is not the easiest thing to use sometimes. Content, live. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. I'm see if I can do this. Okay, I'm going to add a redirect. Okay. So as soon as I in this stream, it should redirect you to Veteran Biker's stream. Of course, it's not going to start till, I believe, 7 later tonight, but at least you'll know. At least you'll know where to go. So, guys, make sure to watch that. It's going to be great. But, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching me this morning. If you haven't yet, if you could leave a like on this video, I'd really appreciate it. And if you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. Yes, I go live every morning, 6 days a week, so almost every morning, 9 a.m. So make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get notified when I go live. And if you would like to support the show, consider becoming a member or click one of my links and donate on Cash App so YouTube doesn't get 30%. That's what they take, but it's all right. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this morning. I hope you have a fantastic day. We will see you tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. on the next one. God bless.